My name is Frank. I'm from Utomik. I'm being held against my will by the Bammsters guy for their rated R show. Please come and save me. It's dark over here. I don't know where I am. Please, somebody, help.
Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome back to this week's episode. Yes, it is me, Bamm Havoc. Yes, last time you guys heard me, I must apologize. I had drunk about half a bottle of port that someone had given me as a thank you gift to help them out for fixing their car. And yeah, I might have drank that before I actually recorded any audio. So I might have been a bit plastered, hammered, ripped. Yeah, zoned out. Yeah, completely knackered. However, I do intend to make amends for my my misgivings and my grievances with you guys. So please accept my apologies. So guys, as you guys all know, end of the month, it is upcoming games. Yes, win it or bin it. You know, get it or the other one, you know, F it sort of thing. Right, well, I've got a selection of 5 games here for you that I think are a bit of a mixed bag. Couple of gets, couple of don't bothers. And if you guys stick around till after this and hear me drone on about things I like and don't like, you've got an interview with a guy called Frank, a very interesting Dutchman, and you know, an online service subscription for games called Utomik. Yes, interesting. Very, very interesting. Right, so first on the chopping block, guys, is Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr. Yes, 5th of June, PC only. Yeehaw, developer, Neocore Games, publisher, the evil overlord of all things 40k Warhammer related is the Games Workshop, partially by Neocore Games themselves. You know, it's Games Workshop. They won't stop micromanaging, you know, the corn out of fecal matter just for the sake of, creativity or fun. So yeah, I honestly, however, saying that, guys, get the game. It's a lot of fun. It's for the PC Master Races, you know, us console peasants have to, you know, deal and live with not having things that are nice because, you know, we can't have nice things. Right, second on the list, boys and girls, is MotoGP 18. Yes, guys, it is on PS4, Xbox, PC, Nintendo Switch. I'm not too sure. There were mixed bags and bits and pieces, but I do hope it comes out on Nintendo Switch. It will increase their library somewhat, almost massively, because MotoGP is quite a big game. Yes, developers and publishers are Milestone Games. So yes, these guys are Italian developers. So, you know, as long as it looks good and a lot of style in it, you know, you're in for a good game because, you know, all about fast bikes and things. Personally, I wouldn't bother, you know, motorcycle racing is not my thing. This coming from a Gran Turismo lover. Have fun with that. Third thing on the chopping... Oh, hang on. Before I go there, that game is due to come out on the 7th of June. Yeah, you see, I got to backtrack sometimes. 7th of June, guys. MotoGP 18. Yeah, Noto, get... Play G18. No. Third thing on the list, rather, is Mario Tennis. Yes, Mario Tennis, Switch only, guys. So yes, Nintendo are dipping into their bag of tricks from Nostalgia Land and pulling out Mario Tennis. To me, it's just a rehashed version of Wii Tennis with different sprites. You know, personally, I say bin it. As you guys well know, the developer is Camelot Software Planning. I've never heard of such a long name for a development company, but hey, if they're into video games and they make pretty good looking games, to be fair, it's a good looking game. And obviously the publisher's Nintendo. This is coming out on the 22nd of June, so if you guys have a few loose purse strings, you might want to purchase it for the Switch. Again, increasing their library of nostalgia. Right, fourth thing. Yes, we're hammering through this, guys. Fourth thing is Far Cry Remastered Classic Gold Ultimate Edition. PS4 and Xbox. Yes, you know, I played on the PS3. I don't need to play a remastered classic edition because, you know, it's a good game. I mean, don't get me wrong. The pirate dude was an absolute nutbag, and I think he was the central to it all, because without him, that game would have just been another shoot 'em and chase 'em type game. Developers, as you guys know, are Ubisoft Montreal, but because they're French Canadian, I like to irritate them and call them Ubisoft Canada. Publishers, obviously, Ubisoft themselves. Personally, I played the game before on PlayStation 3. You know, bin it. My opinion there. Completely bin it. Played it, been there, done that, moved on. I played Battlefield 1 once. I played online. Move on. I've moved on to games like The Division and stuff like that. Last but not least, guys, it is Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus. Yes, it's coming out on the Switch only, believe it or not. So it looks like the Switch has grown up and it's going a bit far from Nintendo's, cute, cuddly, family-friendly and fun sort of bits and pieces. So yeah, get it. It's a good game. It's playing on a console that I don't necessarily have and don't necessarily want to have, but good lord, it's having a very, very, how do you say, dramatic game. I mean, what's less family friendly than neo-Nazism? Oh my good god. Well done Nintendo for actually okaying this. Well done. Next thing you know, Doom. Guys, as you guys know, the developers for that is Machine Games, and obviously publishers are Bethesda Softworks, aka New EA. Yes, I like to think of that because Bethesda is buying up a whole lot of things. So that's coming out on the 29th of June. Believe it or not, PlayStation, Xbox, and all other bits and pieces have had their fun in the sun with it. So guys, they're my 5 games for you coming out in June. There's a lot, and I could read them all out and offer you guys opinion, but these are the ones that caught my eye this time around the chopping block. So yes, guys, Warhammer, 5th of June, get it. Definitely get it. On the 7th of June, MotoGP, bin it. That's personal opinion though. A lot of people like their MotoGPs. So if you're into that sort of thing, I like your motorbike racing, guys, get it. Italian design flair, 3 on the list is Mario Tennis, Switch only, 22nd of June. Far Cry 3 Remastered Gold Classic, awesome, amazing edition, playing it again because you can, 26th of June. And obviously Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus, Switch only, 29th of June. Guys, thank you very much for listening to my upcoming game segments, and please enjoy the rest of the listen. Frank is coming up next from Utomik, and he is all-inclusive. Thank you guys for listening. Cheers!
Hi, my name is Frank Meyer from Utomik, and you should check us out on www.utomik.com. We're a subscription gaming service for your PC where you can play over 750 games with weekly games added. Do check us out.
Utomik brings you an extraordinary collection of PC.
And we're back again. Yes, I am still G, and with me somewhere there is still the Bamm. But, of course, it's the interview section, so we have a guest. Say hi to Frank.
Hi guys, thanks for having me over.
Frank, hoe gaat het met jij vandaag, meneer?
Excellent pronunciation. Het gaat goed. En met jou?
Zei je kan moest niet al praten.
What?
Ja, daar zei, ja. Ja, jij hoeft niet om te weten, man.
You sound like my colleague. We just recently added a guy from the UK, and he sometimes tries to speak Dutch, and it's just cute. It's just cute.
Ik zeg voor je nou, meneer, ik kan moest niet al praten.
You sound like, I don't know, I don't even know. Sorry, I can't even.
Ever heard of a little country called South Africa?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. It's like, yeah, in the south, right?
It's down on the arse end of the planet, mate, full of people, it's Afrikaans, it's Dutch, it's Afrikaans. It's exactly the same language. Exactly the same.
Exactly, like, yes. Yes, exactly. I don't have any other way to put it, yes.
Yep. Anyway, Frank, dude, as you've come on to talk about yourself and Utomik, please, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Actually, I only came here to talk about myself, so can we just skip the whole Utomik part? Or?
Yeah. More happy to do that.
Well, my name is Frank. I'm the PR manager at Utomik, which is a company based in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. And what we do is we are a PC-focused gaming subscription, monthly gaming subscription. The easiest way to explain it, and what's always gets people to understand this, is saying like, hey, we're kind of like a Netflix for game. And, well, that's just the short version. Like, I can go on for hours, but I don't think we have enough time for that.
I'm sure there's a lot more to it than just saying you're Netflix for games, because you're a monthly subscription for games. There's a lot more to it than that. I imagine, yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I'll tell a little bit more. Like, we started in 2014. The company started, and it's actually it's funny because before Utomik started, they licensed the same technology that we use already. They used to license it to MMOs, just to make like MMOs are always really big games, and people generally don't really like to wait that long to play a game. They just want to get into it real quick. So the founders developed a tech that could do that. It just chops up every game into little bits and pieces and just gives it to you when you need it. And from that moment on, like, people were actually requesting the founders, like the company they had back then, like, hey, can you make something more consumer facing? Because it was very business. Like, they licensed it to MMO companies. And that's kind of how Utomik came to be. And they just started this as like a way, like, we're gamers ourselves. We just want to get it to gaming quick. We don't like waiting. I mean, who does anyway?
So these games of yours that you license out, I take it you are licensing this game out from a subscription, I imagine. So how many games do you have? Is it like Netflix, where you got thousands of movies to watch and hundreds of episodes of whatever you want, thing? Or do you just have like a select few current games, last gen games, 5-year-old games, and if you say Nintendo games, I might just bust a nut.
Ooh, well, I have to be... the nut busting can wait for a little bit. I don't think Nintendo will ever allow us to have their games on our platform. They're pretty... Yeah, they keep it close to the chest, everything. But yeah, besides that, you were actually kind of right. Well, at the moment we have roughly 765 games on the platform. We add 5 new games every week, usually every Friday. So we just kind of keep it growing. So we're not yet at the Netflix size, but we are the biggest subscription service games-wise. Like, we have the most amount of games. And if you look at our catalog, it's divided between what you said, last gen AAA games. So like, we have the Batman Arkham series, mostly except Arkham Knight. We have Saints Row up till 4. We have Borderlands. We have Darksiders, Metro Last Light, and 2033 Redux, both of them. And besides that, we really focus a lot on high-quality indie games that are a bit more recent. Like, I don't know if you heard of a little game called Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, which is pretty well known as, if you love strategy games, if you remember the old Commando series. This is like a Japanese version of it. It was really successful. It's like a year and a half old by now, I think.
I remember Drab was quite into it.
It is awesome. Just awesome. It's for that alone, you should just come along and just get your Mac upgrades into Windows and just, yeah.
Ouch.
Sorry, I just had to.
The more I talk to Frank, I like it.
Well, we can make this a weekly thing. I mean, I can just make jokes about G Smack. I mean, I don't mind.
Oi.
I like this guy. G, bring Frank back.
Just fair warning, Eindhoven is a fast train away from me. I can be there quickly.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm like, when? Tonight? Tomorrow?
So Frank, tell me, right? This is very intriguing, right? So when are you going to allow consoles to join your monthly subscription service? Because I tell you what, games like the Arkham Knight series, Borderlands, Darksiders, all those, they're bloody good games, very good games. Why can't I have this subscription service on my PlayStation? Where my PlayStation, bro?
You heard of a little thing called PlayStation Now, right?
Yeah, that's not really good.
Nah, and on the Xbox, you know, maybe you heard about that Xbox Game Pass thing.
That's a little bit better, but still not as good as what you are offering.
I know, of course, but that's why you just need to get a PC and just play on the PC.
Oh, wounded! Ah, shot to the heart, bro.
I verletzt. Oh wait, that's too Commando-y. Sorry, I love the Commando series, so.
So, question, because you bring up PlayStation Now as an example. They stream not so much the game files as the whole visual. And then you stream the controllers the other way, basically. So there's a lot of lag, there's a lot of headaches. It's expensive as hell, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up, like, yeah, who even wants to afford it, but...
20 euros per month, I think they're charging. Ouch.
That is correct.
But you're sending the... Sorry. You're sending the file, so you download the game piece by piece and you start playing it locally. So you still need a computer that is capable of running whichever game, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, we don't... It's what you said about PlayStation Now is because of the lag you can experience. Like, in some countries, the internet is so good that you won't have any issues with it. But that is not the majority of the world. In the majority of the world, streaming technology just doesn't work. And I don't think it will get there anytime soon even. So with that in mind, we just wanted to have a technology that works no matter how good or bad your internet connection is. And we find, like, also from people we talk to in different parts of the world where internet is not as good, we get a lot of feedback that Utomik is actually working really well because of the way our tech works, where indeed, like you said, you download part of the file, like our smart tech calculates based on your internet connection how much you would need as a first package to start playing the game. And while you're playing, again, based on your internet connection, it just keeps requesting packages, downloading them in the background also to your PC. But it will never interrupt your gameplay. But again, also like you said, you will need to be able to run the games. But again, for most of the games that we have, it won't be that much of a problem unless you really want to go like full guns blazing with all whistles, bells, and yeah, anything else that you can really think of that you want to bust out. But yeah, it's not necessary.
Okay, no, it's one of the things that's been a little bit on my mind because I've been looking at, PlayStation Now, GameFly, if that's still existing. Nvidia just came. Yeah, I think they do, and they're also stream visuals. Nvidia's doing GeForce Now, which is in beta, that's also stream visuals. All of them are taking that approach to cloud gaming. Yours seems to be pretty much just you guys.
Yeah, it's well, we're not alone. When you look at Xbox Game Pass, they also do downloads, and several other competitors also do. Maybe not exactly the same thing, but at least they don't use streaming technology because they know it's not working for the parts in the world where the internet connection is not good. And I feel like you're doing a disservice to those people when your service is not providing, if it is not available to gamers worldwide. I feel that's not fair. I mean, everybody wants to game, and if you can offer something that is affordable to people, but you still take it away because of limitations technology-wise, yeah, that's just not cool. That's not what we want to do. We just want to make gaming available everywhere, cheaper than if you go to Steam and just buy every game that we have. We did calculations sometimes. Yeah, it's going to cost you a couple $1,000 to just buy our entire library. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, at least.
Well, that sounds kind of nice, because I heard this comparison to Netflix, and I get an uncomfortable feeling, because Netflix, where I live, doesn't have even half the amount of titles it has up by Bamm. So it's kind of like, I don't like the idea of excluding people from the entertainment, from whatever it is you want to do. And yeah, the visual streaming does exclude some people, so you want to be inclusive, I am all for that.
Yes, well, welcome aboard. Now you just need to get a Windows PC.
Again!
Hey! I like this guy, G. I like this guy. I like him.
You could say, hey, maybe make it for Mac. Like, we got a lot of requests for that as well. And yeah, we want to include, as well, also be inclusive there. Like, we get a lot of requests also to be on mobile devices, which also makes sense to us. So we are always looking forward to adding other devices or that Apple thing. But that's going to be some future. So maybe in the future you will actually join the cool people.
You see, I keep telling G, come to the land of freedom. Come, G.
Join us on the good.
Freedom. Yes. Brexit's only a facade. Freedom.
Bam, I've told you before and I'll tell you again. I have a Mac because I upped my standards. Up yours.
You have only got a Mac because you lowered yours.
I'm not going to say anything. It's just not worth it.
Exactly. Mac just isn't worth it. You're right. Totally right.
We don't have to lower ourselves to those standards, right? I mean...
Oh, speaking of standards, right? I was watching on the YouTubes the other day. Linus Tech Tips broke his $10,000 iMac Pro TV, whatever you want to call it, and freaking Apple won't repair it. Because they don't have the parts, and they don't have the service technicians who are qualified to repair it. But it's a fully launched product. Surely you'd have the part, because you're currently producing the parts, and 2, you'd have people trained before the part was launched. Okay, yes. Well done, Apple! Yay!
No comments.
Enough about Apple. I think I've wound G up enough. Frank, how many people are in your Utomik team?
I have to do some math in my head. So like X divided by... I think we're around 30 at the moment, give or take. Like our office is actually bursting at the seams because we grew quite rapidly. Like I joined a year ago now, and since I joined, I think 1/3 extra more people have been added, so we're at about 30 now. And you can just see if you come to our office, like, hey, there's a lot of people in like offices together. But it's good fun. We have a great team, great company. So yeah,
might send G there on a fast train to go and see what you guys are all about, and hopefully you can convince him to get a PC.
You're definitely welcome. Everybody's welcome. If you enjoy coffee, we will take you to the best coffee spots in Eindhoven.
You see, I disagree, right? I've been to Rotterdam, okay, and I must say, Rotterdam, the coffee houses there, great. Absolutely great.
You definitely haven't been to Eindhoven, but it's okay. I'll forgive you.
Oh, I see.
Okay, you can see this as an open invitation. Whenever you come by, just let me know and I will show you good coffee.
There we go, G.
This is why I should comment that I don't drink coffee.
Wow. He doesn't have a PC, doesn't drink coffee, has a Mac. It's just going downhill.
We can fix that again.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there, Frank. Totally with you.
Yeah. Why did you even accept this invitation?
But it is kind of tempting because my old employer was actually in Eindhoven. I've been there a couple of times. I've just never seen the city. Like, I've seen the train station, I've seen an office. That's it.
Where did you work?
Well, I worked in Belgium, but my employer was in Eindhoven. So there's an industry park somewhere just outside of Eindhoven where they were.
Yeah, I think I might know where you mean. Like, I live here for a year now, but I mostly know the center. Like, I can walk to work. It's close by, so I don't really go further than that. I'm a gamer, so I'm inside a lot.
It's also why I didn't interrupt while you and Bamm were exchanging Dutch versus Afrikaans, because down here that would be Flemish, and my Flemish is terrible.
Nice. Well, I think it will be as understandable as the Afrikaans, so...
Jesus, was I that bad? Was I? Oh, God.
After the first sentence, you kind of lost me.
Right. You mean I got a sentence right? Yay! Yay!
So, Frank, I'm going to ask a little bit unfair questions, because given what you're doing, aren't you kind of picking a fight with Steam and, what is there, the Windows Store and Uplay, all Epic stores and all those individual stores that every single publisher has? You know, aren't you just getting into a fight with some kind of big gorillas?
Yeah, we can take any fight, but no, to be like what it really is, we don't see ourselves as a competition with storefronts because we are not a storefront. We see ourselves as something you would have next to buying your games in a storefront. it's a lot, like, when you go to, for example, well, we mentioned Steam, might as well dive into that one. When you go to Steam right now, you see just tens, dozens of releases every day. Try to stay updated on those and pick the games you want to play. It's getting more and more impossible right now. And what we...
7,000 last year.
Yeah.
Most of which was frankly shovelware.
Yeah. So yeah, well, what we do is we actually curate the games that get on our platform. We are starting to be stricter and stricter. The more games we get, and the easier it is for us to get content from those big parties you talked about, because we do have contracts with Warner Brothers, we have contracts with Curve Digital, we have contracts with Daedalic, Sega, Epic. All those people have games on our platform, so they don't see us as a competitor to Steam per se. They see us as an opportunity to reach a new audience, which is kind of what we do. Like, if we look at our user base, it is a lot more family oriented. That's also what we kind of offer in our library. We have a lot of diversity. You can find almost anything, any kind of genre on our platform. We have game for men, we have game for women, we have game for children. A little less though, because we try to focus on the adult audience. But yeah, we kind of have something for everybody. And like I said, with the amount of releases that storefronts do, it's just, for people that have busy lives, it's just impossible to keep up anymore with the releases nowadays. Like, I myself, I love to game, and I try to keep up with all the new releases. I focus a lot on indie games myself. I'm a big indie fan. And it is just become impossible. Like, together with Twitter and then news and everything, I just can't keep up anymore. I can't play them. I can't remember when everything is coming out. And what we do instead is, like, we release 5 games a week in different genres. We always make sure that there's at least a game for everybody to that they can enjoy every week. And just make sure that it is games that you want to play, not games, like you said, shovelware. We try to avoid shovelware, for sure.
Well, that's kind of nice. And I think you touched on something back when I first saw you, when you came up in one of our discussions inside the team. It was this idea that you get access to all these games. If my kids came to me and said, "Dad, I want games on my computer," this seems perfect to me, because they are not necessarily looking for any specific game. They just want access to interesting games, few new ones, and here's a collection of, what did you say, 765 games right now. Yeah, that seems optimal to me. I would go just family pack, thank you very much, done.
Oh yeah, and we definitely I think that's a good deal as well, because we have a family plan, as I think one of, or the only subscription service we have a family plan, where you can have up to 4 different users on your subscription, and that's only $9.99 compared to a single use plan for $6.99. So it's actually great value for money. And we do have parental control as well. So if your kids are young, for the people with younger kids, it's also nice that they can be like, okay, I definitely don't want my kid to see any of this. We can make sure, like with your control settings, you can make sure that they don't see any of that. You can just make sure they just see what you want them to see. And for yourself, you can just play everything. Just go nuts.
Nice. Yeah, as a parent, that's actually something that matters. Having at least some way of saying what to do and what games can be played. Because I think we've all seen the slightly more confused parents going, "Oh yeah, I need this game for my kid because my kid says they want this," and you're standing there going, "That's not something a 13-year-old should be playing at this time."
No, I remember convincing my parents back when Kingpin Life of Crime came out. I was 13, I think, somewhere around that age, and that was 18 plus, and I just had to convince them. It worked, because they didn't know what it was. They were just like, "Yeah, sure, it's like you want it, so we'll just get it for you." But I shouldn't have been able to play that game back then. It's not good, and I hear that too much out, like with Call of Duty, GTA. Too many kids are playing that, and it's just not. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. But they can just say to their parents, hey, we want to play this. All my friends are playing it, so we need to play it as well. And I think in a lot of cases, it's as well like same as that people use TV to raise their kids. In some cases, people use games to raise their kids. Like, we have a busy life. We can't really deal with having to look out and having to entertain our kids all the time. So here, play a game, and your friends are playing, so it's probably fine. That's not what we want. So that's what we try to avoid, at least. And with Utomik, you can't have a subscription if you're not at least 18 years older. You need to have access to a credit card, which I understand is, well, for some kids still easily available, I guess, and you can lie about your age, but it puts up a bit more barriers, I would say, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have it. Various malls in the US, when I've been traveling over there, I've seen they sell basically credit cards, but prepaid, so effectively debit cards. But they work as a credit card and anybody can buy them. A little bit irritating way of getting around these age checks. Oh yeah, I have a credit card that I paid for $10 at a store.
It just feels a bit shady, but yeah, I guess regulations allow it there, so who are we to judge? But yeah, it just feels a bit shady to do stuff like that. But yeah, kids don't care, and as long as the government doesn't do anything about it, it just continues to happen.
And the parents get peace.
So, Frank, it's all good and well that you guys have got a very, very strong nanny system and nanny state, but I have another question for you. How are you guys combating the hype train? Because as the way I understand it, you don't necessarily have brand new AAA releases, which is, personally, it's fine, because the hype train when it comes to AAA games nowadays is absolutely horrible. Battlefield 1 hype train was a complete nightmare. Battlefront 1 and 2, complete nightmare. You know, horrible. So you guys have got the older titles, I get that. How are you guys going to combat the hype train where for example, Destiny, I think it sold something like 60 million copies in like the first month or something stupid like that? How are you combating that and all that bits and pieces?
Yeah, it's more like what you say. The hype train usually ends up being a derailed train when those
Correct.
It's released. So what we make sure is that the AAA games we do get, even though they are a couple years older, actually are critically and by consumers also regarded as really good games. Like I mentioned, the Arkham games, Saints Row, they are well-received games for any group of people. So we really try to avoid that, and people still want to play them. If I look at the numbers, I can see that at the moment a game like, for example, Dead Island Riptide is very popular on a platform. So for our users, at least, it doesn't really matter the age. And like I said, we make sure that hype train for that game, even though it's an older train, it's still trucking along really well. It still at least stays on the track. And with regards to Star Wars Battlefront 2, there is only one Star Wars Battlefront 2. Were we kidding?
Yes, exactly. I played on the Xbox, the original Xbox. Yes, there we go. Yes.
Like, it was so much fun when we saw the Star Wars Battlefront 2 release, and it just ended up in a clusterfuck of. Well, let's not go down that road, but it was just funny to see that we actually got mentions that people were like, yeah, well, you should just go to Utomik and play the real Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's just, this kind of made us chuckle. But
I played the original Star Wars Battlefront on Xbox, the original Xbox, right? And then I played Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation. And I tell you what, the PlayStation 2 Battlefront 2 was the better version, because you could run around and fly and go into enemy battleships and do... mate, brilliant game. Loved it. Great game. So here's another question for me there, Frank, is are the in-game services such as credits and loot boxes... See, I'm saying that the way I'm saying that. Are those activated, or are those just shot in the face and told to sit down?
Sit down. Get out. We don't want...
Yes!
No. We don't do with stuff like that. And any game that has DLC, we have the DLC included.
There we go. That was the answer I'm looking for.
Almost every case, I think. As far as I know, all the DLC that has become available for that game, we have that standard included. There are no extra costs. There are no loot boxes. There is none of those shenanigans. I mean, let's go back to the olden days where that was not a thing, like that grind to unlock that loot box so you can maybe get that rare drop that you were after. I mean, come on. Like, it was time for that.
We've got time to play the game, but not time to grind and chase after stupid things. I like that. Happy days. So all DLC is included and you don't have to chase too much of bits and pieces you want. Happy days.
Definitely. I'm actually looking at a game right now that we got on our secret back portal where our ninjas can test it. And that game is fairly recent, I'd say, like, what is it, half year, 3/4 year old, and it got all the DLC included already, like, in our build. So that's just the kind of thing that we want to keep up. And all our partners that we have they just do it, they agree with it, and we just also when a game releases new DLC, we when we find out, because we all have our eyes out for any of the games we have, if we see that a game has DLC either just released or upcoming, we just immediately chase them and like, hey, we want that too, and we want it now, and just add it, and it doesn't cost the person anything.
Brilliant. That has completely squashed all the other questions I had for you, because you've answered it, I want to say, the right way. Happy days.
It was fun, guys, and I'll go to bed then. I'll talk to you next week, same time.
Yes, next week, same time, same place. Same attitude. Happy days. Now, I was really expecting you to say, well, you've got the core game and you've got to pay for the DLC, because I'm still amazed at how, I want to say, cheap and affordable this gaming platform is. I'm like, no, they've got to make money some other way. So
that is the way we make money, just with the subscription fee. There's no other ways around it. That's just how we make our money, and it works. So why change a concept that works? And people seem to love it, and we don't want to change this. We don't want to be like, oh, we can earn more money if we would just have people pay for the DLC. Like, we don't want to become a company like that. There have been many, and are still many companies that work like that.
Right, so my technical question for yourself there, Frank, is, I take it when you download the game, obviously you use packages and all that bits and pieces stuff, I cannot begin to understand it, right? I take it you've got, because these are older games, they tend to work on most PCs, because I understand PCs are called rigs in modern lingo, and every rig has a different graphics card, CPU, motherboard, graphics, all RAM setup, all the bits and pieces. I take it these games will work on any rig that it runs on, I take it, yeah? Or are there still some issues?
There's just the one real requirement we have is like it has to run Windows 7 and up. That is really the only requirement we have. Besides that, it is good to have a graphic card of some sort. Like, you won't be able to run maybe the AAA games, the slightly more recent ones. I think you would have some trouble with, for example, Metro Last Light, because that can be a bit heavier on a machine. So you have to lower all the settings. But in general, you can run on any PC. Most games you can run on any PC, because we have quite a big selection also of indie games, and they tend to be a bit lighter on specs in general. So it's not. We haven't heard a lot of issues, at least, about it, or any at all, really, as far as I'm concerned.
So if I went and subscribed to your family subscription service and I downloaded, say, Command & Conquer from, let's say, which one was the buggy one? It wasn't Red Alert. It was the third one, wasn't it?
I like that you go with a game that we don't have at all.
Ah, you don't have Command & Conquer, dude. Fail.
Yeah. Like, where's the license now? Is it Activision? EA?
It's Activision. No, it's EA. It's EA.
Yeah, okay. They have their own subscription service. You know that, right?
I know Origin. I don't like it.
Yeah, so that's like we would love. Obviously, we would love, like the same reason we would love to get Age of Empires, but that's Microsoft.
Oh, A&E. Oh.
Yeah. Well, my personal favorite is actually there, which falls in the same category: Knights and Merchants, which to me is still one of the best strategy games ever. Just because of the village building aspect of it, I just can't get enough of the animations, and just how your town is alive all the time. Just
I went from Command & Conquer, right? I played the good lord. I played... Oh, gosh, this is a long time ago, mind you. I played the original Command & Conquer, and then I played Red Alert. And then I played Red Alert 2. Thought it was too cartoony, too sort of, I want to say, childish. And then I went to Warcraft and played Warcraft all the way through. And then I went to A&E. And I'll tell you what, that is... A&E's much better. Much better.
I never really got into Red Alert that much. I tried one of the earlier ones, and then I think I like Tiberian Sun the most, maybe.
That's a good story mode. That's a good story. Very good movie graphics and visuals as well. It was like a movie you were playing through. It's a good game.
Yeah, and for me, just that game clicked. But then if you go back to the older ones, it just didn't really click for me then, because maybe I should have started with the early ones, just giving them the new chance again. But yeah, I don't know. So for me, it just went to Age of Empires, Settlers, Knights and Merchants, and then just from then on, just Knights and Merchants. It's like my summer game. Like whenever I just feel like a chill game where you can just zone out a little bit. It's too warm to play anything where you really need to focus. Then I just start up a town in Knights and Merchants and just start building away and just enjoying watching the animations. Like if you haven't played it, you really should check it out, by the way.
Oh, I have a Windows PC. I will be able to play it. So, don't you worry.
Bam, just looking at the list, there's Empire Total War. That might actually be something for you.
Again, I'll be able to play it.
I like the digs, like very, very subtle digs at you. Very, 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 very subtle. Like, I don't think he noticed, but...
He noticed. He's not that much of an artard. Trust me, he noticed. Right, Frank, my good man. Utomik, you're the PR rep. You've done a very good job at representing and PRing Utomik.
Yeah, I was like, how was my PRing, actually?
Dude, it is spectacular. You made me giggle a few times.
Because if my boss hears this, like, Frank, you're fired.
Just tell him to listen to the podcast. You'll be rehired and given a pay raise. Done.
Oh, finally. I've been wanting to be able to afford my own house.
What I was basically going to ask before we went to that sort of darker side of things, Frank, is where can people get in touch with either yourself, Utomik, and where can we find this beautiful subscription service series?
The easiest way to find us is go to www.utomik.com. There we have everything. You can just get the free 14-day trial to just test us out. And if you like it, well, why shouldn't you? If you like it, then you can just subscribe and just stay with us forever as we take over the world, which is, of course, our ultimate goal. Where I will be mostly I am on Twitter. I handle the Utomik account on Twitter mostly. So if you see weird GIFs come around as a reply on your very serious question, that is me. Because as you might have noticed, I can be serious, maybe, if I need be. But I like being a little bit silly. I mean, that is who we are as Utomik. Just we like to be a little bit silly. But besides Twitter, we just relaunched our Instagram account where we have some really cool art. We actually, if you are into game art, we start doing commissions for games we release, because we release new games every week. We just pick the game that we think is the coolest, and we look for an artist that we think really matches that style, like can make a really cool original artwork based on that game, and then we just get that and post it on our Instagram, which is awesome. I just got 2 new commissions in today. I'm still drooling and picking on my jaw and pieces, and I don't know how I sound, but it's like half my mouth that's flapping.
I don't know how to reply to that. That was both awe-inspiring and I'm gobsmacked. Brilliant. I'm now going to go harass you on Twitter. Brilliant. Since you are now the Utomik Twitter dude, I'm going to harass the living shit out of you.
I have a shit ton of gifts that I can just throw back at you. I have a gift for every occasion, so...
You're fighting with... Your food cannot outmatch my food. My gift food is... gift food. Yes. Don't worry, I'll give it to you.
Do we have a date tonight or what?
I told you, fast train. Be there in 2 hours. I'll send G.
Yeah, he doesn't have Windows, so that will never work out.
Ah, of course.
Bamm, just a small note. You should be careful, because this little interview we're doing came up, I tweeted out generally to my followers and people that I interact with on Twitter, if I knew anybody at Utomik. Frank didn't follow me. Frank and Utomik, not in my list of followers. They still showed up and said, hi, you know us? So, they're just sitting on Twitter looking for Utomik all the time.
In your tweets, sliding into DMs.
Stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm looking at my window now. Where the hell is Frank? Big ass binoculars, bro. I see you, son. I see you.
I'm behind you all the time. Whenever you turn around, I'm still behind you, so you will never know. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Bin Jip. It's like a South Korean movie. It's one of my favorites. And it's almost without speaking the entire movie, but it's very impressive. And that the main character, the guy, like he falls in love with a woman and they have a romance, but they don't talk like at all to each other. And then he gets arrested and he goes into jail, and in jail he just becomes kind of like invisible, this ghost. And the woman goes back. She actually had a relationship with a guy who was a bit abusive, and he was never there anyway. And then she goes back home, and he just is in the house and just goes around the husband. It's just like amazing. It's a really great movie. So I'm always thinking about that when I say stuff like that.
Dude, this guy really, I don't know how to come back to him with another question. He just, wow, amazing.
I don't have anything. I'm still just stuck looking through games, so sorry. I'm a little bit distracted. I can play some of these. I like you have Hue on here. That's one of my favorite games, actually.
It's so good. Actually, I always wanted it to play. It's like, well, probably everybody has this. You have this wish list of games on Steam. I have like 100 plus games on Steam in my wish list, and okay, should clean out. You had been on there since the release, and they just never got around to buying it because my backlog is like 300 plus games. So who am I kidding? I was never going to buy it or play it. So when we got the game, I just immediately started playing it, fell in love with it. Its story is very well told. I love the voice acting in it. It just kept me going. The puzzles are really good. The whole mechanic of the color wheel, it's just really amazing. It became one of my favorite indie games that I played this year, at least, because we added it in February, I think. It's definitely one of my games of 2018 so far, even though it's old.
Yeah, my kids pick it up. It's on the PlayStation. They all love it as well. And yeah, narrative and narration are always two items for me. That game just hits it perfectly.
G has to ask you a question, and he will ask this question to you now.
Frank.
Yes.
On behalf of the whole company.
Yes.
What is your favorite way of having some bacon? Delicious bacon. What kind of beverage do you want with that bacon? Be it beer, cider, or whatever things you drink up there in the Netherlands.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh man, I'm fucked. I'm sorry, I'll quit my job right now.
Careful now how you answer this question, Frank. You have the weight of 30 people on your shoulders. The weight of 30 people, that's a lot of weight.
Oh man, I can't carry any weight. I'm like weak as hell. My bacon. I want my bacon crispy. I want it preferably actually on a burger. If that's okay. Can I have that as a breakfast? I can have that as a breakfast, right? That's not weird at all. One thing that always pops in my head when I get bacon is just Adventure Time, the bacon pancake song. It's just, yeah. I don't know if you watched Adventure Time or watched Adventure Time. But anyway, back to your question. If I need to eat bacon, it better be crispy as hell, and it better be on a good burger. And I better have... for me, technically, I'm not much of a drinker, so for me it would just be a boring soda. I'm guessing I'm failing. I will let myself out. It was nice talking to you guys. I hope my boss will accept my resignation. And yeah, I'll go back to my box.
Right, so Utomik, the company, enjoys the The what? The Pang? I don't watch Adventure Time. I don't even know what it is. What is that?
It's a great animated show. It's awesome.
Okay, fair enough. I thought you were going to quote a Rick and Morty reference there, but never mind.
Well, we actually do that a lot because one of my colleagues is called Rick, so we just call him Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick!
And I actually made, we need some graphics when we make news items, which I write. We need to have some graphics in there to actually be able to save the document. And if the item has not been made by a graphic designer yet, I have made, my Photoshop file is called Pickle Rick. So I just add Pickle Rick. So just, Rick and Morty all the way. But Adventure Time is a good follow-up together with Steven Universe, I would say.
Well, there we go, guys. Crispy bacon burger with a can of soda, whichever you choose. There we go.
Am I okay? Am I not in trouble yet?
Well, that is actually a very, very common answer, bacon burger, because, there's quite a sort of select type of people that order and have breakfast for their bacon, breakfast pancakes, bacon and all that jazz, and some people have bacon burgers and stuff, so yeah, a lot of people have that.
I am so Dutch with my breakfast. I am so Dutch that even Dutch people like, how Dutch are you? Well, that Dutch. I eat bread with sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles on them every single day.
Okay, that's not Dutch, dude. That's just like normal. Okay?
My girlfriend is Danish. She's like, what? I was at her parents' house once and they just gave me the cake decoration sprinkles. And we're like, yeah, it's the same thing, right? I'm like,
no, it's not.
Frank, let's just say it's been awesome having you on. It's been interesting to learn about Utomik. It's been absolute pleasure talking to you. You are welcome back anytime, especially when you add some more games to this thing.
Right, well, Frank, I really do hope this little chat we had wasn't work. Unfortunately for you, it probably was. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I had a lot of fun talking to you, dude. You made me chuckle. Thank you very much.
Unleash Gaming!